let's talk about the economy. And I want to start by talking about this big standoff between the auto workers and the big three auto manufacturers. My question for you, Mr. President, whose side are you on in this?
I'm on the side of making our country great. The auto workers are not going to have any jobs when you come right down to it, because if you take a look at what they're doing with electric cars are going to be made in China. The auto workers are not going to have any. I'll tell you what, the auto workers are being sold down the river by their leadership, and their leadership should endorse Trump. The reason is, you got to have choice. Like in school, I want school choice. I also want choice for cars. If somebody wants gasoline, if somebody wants all electric, they can do whatever they want. But they're destroying the consumer, and they're destroying the auto workers. The auto workers will not have any jobs, Kristen, because all of these cars are going to be made in China. The electric cars automatically are going to be made in China.
So let's talk about UAW's leadership. The president, Sean Fain, has withheld his endorsement of President Biden, but this is what he had to say about you. Quote, another Donald Trump presidency would be a disaster. How would you win that endorsement?
Well, if that's the case, I probably won't win his. I don't know the gentleman, but I know his name very well. And I think he's not doing a good job in representing his union, because he's not going to have a union in 3 years from now. Those jobs are all going to be gone because all of those electric cars are going to be made in China.
Joining us, Mary Barr, Chair and CEO of General Motors. Strike was called at midnight. What's your reaction initially? And I know you knew this was coming, but what's your reaction?
Well, you know, Phil, our team has been working since July 18th to bargain in good faith. We've had over 1,000 demands. I'm extremely frustrated and disappointed. We don't need to be on strike right now. You know, we put a historic offer on the table that not only has very significant gross wage increases, you know, total through the contract, over 20%, that compounded is 21%. But we also have job security. We maintain world-class health care. There's so many aspects of this, of the offer we have on the table, that I think really is going to resonate with our employees. So we didn't need to be here.
Earlier AI stories that we covered in Cruise. That's right, the autonomous ride-hailing business backed by GM. Even with an impending strike by the United Auto Workers, driverless technology marches on. This time we got a chance to speak with Kyle Vogt. He's the co-founder, president, CEO, and CTO of Cruise. And we did it in the back of one of his autonomous vehicles, cruising the streets of San Francisco as we talked. First time he has ever done an interview from the back of a moving driverless vehicle. First time for me, too. Now, there's so much to cover here that we had to split this interview into two parts, one tonight and one for tomorrow. It's very exciting, so take a look. Well, this is comfortable.
You got to buckle up, and then you can just press that start ride button, and we'll be on our way.
Are you a guest? Are we okay there? All right, so it tells me exactly where I am. It knows your name because that's from your phone, right? Yeah. Just be sure it clicks. And what I have to imagine is that this is in San Francisco second nature already.
For a lot of people, they commute to work.
Do they really? Because then it's well timed for people to return. I saw some commuting numbers are up 18% year over year. So
interesting.
The direction is clearly going your way.
And we're off. So no one behind the wheel.
Well, okay, so did you tell Noki where we want to go, or is it just
I did.
freelancing?
It's not just going on a joyride. When I open the app, I type in the address. It's a coffee shop nearby, so we're going to head over there.
Fantastic.
Think about it, cars are actually coming out with more safety features. There are more cars on the road with those safety features, but we're still getting worse in terms of fatalities. And I have to attribute that to just people being distracted. They're on their phones. They're doing
They can't
other things.
stop it, right? They can't stop it.
And so we've been unsuccessful as a society to do something about this, and I think that is okay because in some ways, because we have to get to work, we have to get to school, to our jobs, and there's been no effective solution really. This is the first time we have a technology solution that can actually have a huge reduction in those injuries and fatalities as it scales.
Well, one of the most powerful lobbies in the country and successful is Mothers Against Drunk Driving. They should be, if you're against drunk driving, then you should be pro self-driving.
Yeah, and you know, I think we talked to them a lot. And
you have.
Do some work.
Could the Big Mac soon become the Little Mac? Or the Whopper, the Whimper? A fast food franchise group is saying California's potential new food bill could cause a devastating impact on their business. The bill would raise the floor on wages to $20 an hour to any chain with at least 60 locations anywhere in America. That would break it up nearly $5 an hour from the current minimum wage floor. Joining us now, the reporter who broke the story, our friend, CBC restaurant and small biz correspondent Kate Rogers. Kate, what are they saying?
Hey, Brian. Well, in response to AB 1228 passing the California State Legislature last night, the National Owners Association, which is an independent advocacy group of McDonald's owners, is warning, as you said, that the bill will have a, quote, devastating financial blow to franchisees in the state. The bill will raise wages to $20 an hour for fast food workers next year, and Governor Newsom has pledged to sign it. The McDonald's NOA, which has more than 1,000 members, projects the bill will cost each restaurant in the state $250,000 annually, adding the cost, quote, simply cannot be absorbed by the business model. It also claims that, quote, a small coalition of franchisors, including McDonald's, the National Restaurant Association, and the International Franchise Association, independently, without franchisee involvement, negotiated a deal with the Service Employees International Union, causing the legislative outcome to now become certain. Now, in a separate memo to its U.S. system sent earlier this week, also viewed by CNBC, McDonald's executives wrote that it and other franchisee groups, quote, worked tirelessly over the past year to fight these policies and protect owner-operators' ability.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Support this great content by hitting the Cash App and by joining the Patreon.
And guys, once again, we have Trump telling us the truth. And guys, CNBC has to be one of the funniest Hegelian dialectic channels ever in history. But what did Trump just say? Majority of cars are going to be electric. Not only electric, guys, we know autonomy. We know Trump signed the bill, no pedal, no steering wheel. You're not going to be driving anyway. Remember, the fourth industrial revolution is all about the machines. And we had Jim Cramer just happen to step into an autonomous vehicle on the same day they're doing a strike. Guys, you cannot make this stuff up. And we know how the mainstream media is able to get away with this because the masses are distracted. They think it's not going to happen to them. But little do they know, it's coming fast forward. Majority of these people are going to be out of work, and because they have not studied the new technology, like Jerome Powell stated, they're going to be left behind. And we have California raising wages. And McDonald's said, oh no, we can't pay this. But guys, remember this is part of the plan. I put this in my NWO book. We know in order to move an agenda is either raise taxes or raise wages. And we know McDonald's was already preparing for autonomy. They're already ready for the machines. Remember, guys, they have to have the excuse. They have to have the distraction in order to bring the machines in. Wages are too high, so we had to bring in something cheaper, and that's the machines. They have already tested this overseas. They know it's ready to go. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you.
You know, crypto is becoming an increasingly part of the demographics that support these sitting members. And as we think about not only the upcoming election, but also where these bills stand today, it's really, really important they continue to push forward on getting as much momentum around them as possible.
Will we see anything passed by the end of this year, you think?
I'm optimistic that we absolutely could. If any Congress to date could do it, it certainly could be this Congress.
SEC Chair Gary Gensler testified before the Senate Banking Committee earlier this week, and he was asked about your court ruling. The D.C. Appeals Court basically said that the SEC was wrong to reject your Bitcoin spot ETF. Chair Gensler says he's reviewing the case. He's waiting for recommendations from staff. What are you hearing from the SEC? Has the SEC come back to you at all?
Well, so today is actually day 16 of a 45-day process where we actually have to follow the federal rules of appellate procedure. During this time, the SEC could request a rehearing of the case, and so it's important that we follow the rules during this 45-day period. Ultimately, to your exact point, the court order did in fact vacate the SEC's denial order for the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust application to convert to an ETF, and so we really are looking forward to a constructive dialogue like we've always had with the SEC to really pursue next steps for the ETF conversion as soon as possible and as expeditiously as possible.
And we have Grayscale closer to that Bitcoin spot ETF. And he basically gave the time frame. He said they had 45 days. 16 days have already passed. So basically, we're 30 days away from a spot Bitcoin ETF. If we don't get it in 29 days, we know they're going to kick it to the beginning of next year. And like I've stated before, guys, in order for the bull run to start, the Fed has to cut rates. And we know they're going to set up that main event in order to cut the rates. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Crypto Teacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.